Hey, good morning. It's Brooklyn Lou, the skeptic. Just enjoying a hot cup of coffee. And I wanted to talk briefly today about the church scandals, right? Scandals that have happened throughout many decades now, but many of them in the evangelical world have been coming to light only over the last year or so. And it's so many of them. And I want to say that I'm very grateful that Robert Morris has been indicted on 5 felony counts for the abuse of a minor. And this happened, of course, many years ago. But the thing is that the church, Gateway, big mega church, covered this up. They covered it up for decades. And that's an important part of this whole story of church scandals. You see, somehow in evangelical Christianity, and other types of Christianity as well, I mean, just look at the Catholic Church to see it. But churches feel it's okay to cover up the terrible crimes of their leadership. And they feel it's okay because they put the ministry ahead of people. All right? Now, as a former Christian, that just doesn't seem right even from a Christian perspective. I mean, I used to be taught that Jesus cared for people, and it wasn't about business. But let's face reality. Mega churches are business. Right? They run it as a business, and they get all of the tax-exempt status of a nonprofit. And that's a terrible, terrible thing in America. All right? These are not people running these operations that are overly concerned about the well-being of people, even their own staff, by the way. I mean, they're basically just capitalists. They're American capitalists that are literally just selling Jesus. And they're selling religion to people. And Christians happen to be kind of gullible. I mean, let's be real. They could easily believe in talking snakes, talking donkeys, etc., etc. So they're gullible to stories, all right? And there's always good communicators ready to tell them good, sound, interesting stories that captivate them. And they get taken in by this. All right? And it's a flaw in that they don't seem to understand how to critically think and analyze and determine what actually is true versus what is actually fake or made up or just a story. So they're easy victims. And there's these horrible wolves that are out there, powerful communicators, talented Christian people who see this as an opportunity. And sure enough, they find their way into ministry, okay? Because there's always a church looking to grow and to expand itself. So they're always willing to hire and find talented people, charismatic people, to lead the flock. You see, they think of being charismatic as a leader as somehow being anointed by God. And of course, none of this is true. All right, but it's very nice to see that finally Robert Morris is being held accountable, right? And I'm really excited to see what happens in that case, because certainly he committed crimes, right? But he's not the only one. So I want to give you a quick list of some of the pastors and church leaders just within the last year who have been exposed for doing horrible, horrendous things. Okay, so let me give you a short list. There's more, okay? But here's a short list. Tony Camarota. This is the Stonebriar Community Church. Tony Evans. He's a pretty famous guy. Steve Lawson. Mike Bickle, the famous International House of Prayer in Kansas City. What horrendous acts he has committed. Joe Campbell, Morningside Ministry, the pastor of Jim Baker, okay, caught in terrible SA. Chris Reed and Rick Joyner of Morningstar, caught in horrendous scandal. Daystar TV, Joni Lamb, Marcus Lamb, and the horrible things that are going on and went on there for decades. Okay. T.G. Jakes fell into scandal in the last year. Dr. Michael Brown, the Christian apologist, that happened within the last year. More scandal. And of course, we remember Ravi Zacharias, the great Christian apologist, who was also doing corrupt acts for decades. Okay, we have Ronald Goines, a pastor in Arlington, Texas. We have Tehran Dames, a senior pastor in Texas. Right? And again, all of these scandals finally come to light. But understand that they were covered up. Now, you see, churches cover up what's going on inside the institution. And they do this because they want to keep a lily white image with the community, because the community is their customers. And you darn well know that behind the scenes, that mega church pastors and elders, they consider the people who come to the church consumers, right? They're people in an audience, okay? They're not actually part of the institution. They're the ones who pay and donate for the institution to keep running. And when a scandal happens, some of these good people, they decide to pull their donations, and the churches make less money. And that is their number one priority. Never let it get out what's actually going on, because we might lose money. You see, churches in America today, at least mega churches in evangelicalism, are literally businesses. And Christians, you must recognize this. Recognize that they are businesses. They're not transparent. They're trying to make money, grow their assets, and build massive wealth for the people who are running these churches. So keep that in mind, right? And all of us should be grateful that Robert Morris, after decades of cover-up, is finally gonna at least be held accountable for some of the crimes he committed. So I'm happy today that we're seeing this happen. And I hope we see more of it, I hope we see more of these mega churches who are hiding behind ministry and hiding behind God. I hope we see more exposed in the coming year, because it's sure long overdue.